Hello, Year 4, St Mary Magdalene's Primary School Maths lesson on Friday, the 8th of January 2021, to understand place value. I'm looking at tenths. This builds on yesterday's lesson, of course, where we were looking at centimetres and millimetres, and we worked out that 1 millimetre was a tenth. I always do that to begin with. Let me get the pen back up. 1 millimetre was a tenth of a centimetre. 1 millimetre is a tenth equals 1/10 of 1 centimetre. Because we know that 10 tenths makes a whole one. And if we may have 10 millimetres, 10 tenths of a centimetre, it's a whole centimetre. I hope you did well with your measuring yesterday. I hope that adult or cousin or brother or sister or friend who did the measuring for you as well and checked, and you had a good conversation about who was measuring it properly and how you convert it from centimetres and millimetres into decimal centimetres and finally into millimetres using the place value. And we're going to be looking a bit more at place value today. So let's just remind ourselves of our place value chart. Here you can see we have a place value chart with decimal points down the side. So I know that over here, I'm going to have the tenths. And over here, I'm going to have the ones. Used to be called the units, now they're called the ones. And you've got the tens and you've got the hundreds. And further down the line here, we've got the hundredths. So I wanted to think about an everyday situation where we know about this. Have a little think about money. And when we see money written down, or we see the price of something written in a shop as we're going out to buy things, how that is written down, and what do we know about decimals based on money? Because there's pounds and pence, but they're usually shown as decimals. Have a little think. Yeah, if we were to say we bought something and it cost £2.36, we can use our tenths and hundredths knowledge to understand the decimals a little bit better. We've got some whole units here. The 2 are the whole units, or the ones. So we've got 2.36. And if you think about the money, the 6 is only 6 pence, isn't it? How many pennies are there in a pound? There's 100 of them. Pennies in a pound, there's 100. And look, lo and behold, the 6 is in the hundredths column. So here it is, just here in the hundredths column. Just trying to point without moving that. I don't think I can. The 3 in our number, £2.36, is tens of pence. So we've got 3 tens is 30 pence. If we had 10 of those, we would have another pound. 10 tenths make a whole one. In this case, it's not 10 tenths making a whole centimetre, which we did yesterday. This is 10 tenths making a whole pound. If you had 10 10p coins, you would have a pound, you would have 100 pence. So there we go. That's the way of looking at decimals and helping us understand what tenths are and what hundredths are if we think of pennies and 10 pence pieces and how we can put them together to make a pound. So what's our first puzzle? Ooh, to do with fractions. Yeah, that's interesting. This £2.36, we could say, is 2 whole ones. So it's 2 whole ones. Whoops, everything's moving. Let me get my pen back. Here we go. So it's 2 whole ones. It is 3 tenths and 6 hundredths. So that's another way of writing the same number. 2 whole ones, 3 tenths, and 6 hundredths. Okay. So you're going to have a range of questions to do with tenths and decimal places. Let's work through some together. Can you match the missing fractions or decimals? So whatever is on the top row here will also need to be represented on the bottom row. So have a little look now. This is the first pair. You've got to make the same representation. Yep, you got it. 0.2 is the same as 2 tenths. 3 tenths is the same as 0.3. Can't fit it in the box, but you know what I mean. 4 tenths, written down here, can be a fraction of 4 tenths. And finally, make one up as you feel fit. So here we go. We could end up with 5 tenths if we follow the pattern, working from the left to the right. You've got 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, and 5 tenths. And I don't want to swipe the screen to the right and lose my presentation. So there you go. These are all equivalent or equal. 2 tenths up here is the same. It is equal to 0.2. Or we use the word equivalent, which you remember from when we did fractions before. So that's how you would fill in that sort of question. Now, here you can see that the columns for tenths, I use this notation, but it's the same thing as the word written. And the column for ones, we've got 2 columns here for tenths and for ones, have got discs in. Okay, so it says circle the decimal number shown on the place value grid. So this is my place value grid, and we need to decide which of these 3 numbers is correct. So let's look at the ones. It says 1, 2, 3, 4. There's definitely 4 ones, so I know it's going to be perhaps this number here or this number here, either of those 2. Look at the tenths. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I reckon the answer is 4.5. Sorry, didn't circle that very well. Sometimes this pen needs me to slow down. 4.5, very good. You might get one where you need to add some counters too. Okay, so you've just got 2 columns here in the place value chart, the ones and the tenths, and you need to add to this. So the number we are given is 3.6. That's 3 whole ones and 6 tenths. And we just need to add counters. We can't actually physically put the counters on, but we can draw them. So it's 3.6, so it's 3 ones and 6 tenths. I'm going to have to add just 4 more. That will give me 6 tenths. Here we've got 1 1 and altogether 4 tenths, because there's my 4 and the 4 is in the tenths column. So this is tenths. So therefore it's going to go over in this column here in the place value chart. Hey, we got it. Okay, sometimes you're given the whole decimal number. This is 6.9 in this case. Complete the sentences below. So you're reading and filling in the blanks. 6.9 is equal to something ones and something tenths. So 6.9 is equal to something ones and something tenths. You can see the ones column is 6 and the tenths column is 9 tenths. Okay. Complete the sentence below. Oh, sorry, we've done that one. 6 and 9, yep. Here you've got too many counters, and it's telling us to cross out the counters so that the place value grid shows 4.8. So we need 4 ones and 8 tenths. Okay, so simply crossing out till you've got the correct answer. 4 ones left here and 8 tenths left in here. Ooh, odd one out, like odd one out, but there is an explanation required. So remember, when you're answering this in your book, if you get this type of question, you need to explain. That means a sentence. It's going to mean words, it's going to mean a capital letter, probably a full stop. You've got to say why. Okay, which one is the odd one out? A, B, or C? A is 2.7, 2 ones and 7 tenths. B is 7 ones and 2 tenths, and C is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones and 2 tenths. So C, I just counted, is 7 ones and 2 tenths. Now that really helps me see, because I can, A is 2.7, B is going to be, it's 7 ones and 2 tenths. So I can see that A is the odd one out. I think A is the odd one out because it has the tenths and the ones are actually switched around into an opposite position. That's why I would say they're switched into the opposite position. So the tenths are in the ones column and the ones are in the tenths columns, whereas B and C are actually the same value. Ooh. We got the answer there. Oh yeah, A is the odd one out because it shows 2.7 and the other representations are 7.2. So there's our answer to that slide. And if I just take you back, you can start with your spicy work. Oh, it's done it again. I hate it when it does that. I'm trying not to do it. Whenever I swipe to the right too far, that's what happens. Jump back in. Give me a second. Here's ClassFo. Okay, spicy work. This is where you need to pause the video and go through the questions. Answer them as best you can. Remember to write the question number in your workbook and to write out the values. Yes, if you're looking at this and you've got the decimal point over here, then you're looking at this. You can write it out as 2 whole ones, then the decimal point, and something tenths. Then you need to look below which of these 3 is it going to be, okay? So writing the answer as you think it is for 1A. 1B, again, writing out the question number and the answer. You've got 2 pages here for the nice and spicy. You've got that one and the next one. Off you go, and when you finish, you can restart the video for some spicier work and the spiciest challenge. Good luck. Okay, back in. Now we're going to have a little game of odd one out. Oh, that's the one we did, sorry, I think. Yes, we did that one before. Okay, now we're into the storytelling side. Imagine it's maybe you, not Preston, or a friend. But there's a chap here. This one is called Preston, but it could be somebody you know. He spilled orange juice on his place value grid. And he says, I used exactly 11 counters. So he's got 11 counters like that placed on his place value. There was an even number in the ones column. What decimal numbers could Preston have made? So if he's got 11 counters, and there's even number of them in the ones column. So our ones have got to be an even number. So it could be 2. It could not be 3 because that's not even. But it could be 4. It could be 6 if we made it 6. Any even number could go in the ones column. But if we know he used 11 counters altogether, what would the whole number be? What would the complete number be? So if in the ones we did say there was 6, let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And he used 11. That means I've got to have some tenths because I've got 11 counters altogether. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6 and 5 makes 11. Here's my 6. Whoa, sorry, here's my 6. Here's my 5. So the decimal number that I could have made might be 6.5. It's not the only answer though. Imagine I was to take my rubber and change this one so that Preston only had 5 in the ones. Okay, now he's only got 5 there. This is 5. The one that's missing from there, because it's 11 counters altogether, I can pop over the other side. So this is now no longer 5, this is 6. So it could be 5.6. What decimal numbers could Preston have made? So there's more than one answer here. That's a big clue for you, more than one answer. Lots of different answers, okay? 11.1, 8.3, 6.5, we had that one. If you get a question like that and you think there's more than one answer, do write them out. Write out a few. If you get a few of these right when you're marking your work tomorrow, which will actually be Monday, won't it? Yeah, by the time we mark this, then you're going to get more ticks. Well done. Okay, Leanne is using a place value grid to make decimal numbers, and she says, I have made 6.7 using 12 counters. Is Leanne correct? So right or wrong, and prove it. She says she's used 12 counters, so let's have a look first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. She's used 12 counters, that's good. Has she made 6.7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got more than 6 ones. She's actually got 7 ones. So is that incorrect? I'm going to say she is incorrect. So I've got the prefix at the beginning of the words here. This is my prefix to change the meaning to the opposite. Instead of correct, correct being the root word, I now have got incorrect, and I need to prove it, and the proof is that she is incorrect because she has used 12 counters to create 7.5. Okay, so we've got 7.5. To make 6.7, she needs 13 counters, 6 in the ones and 7 in the tenths. So that's the sort of sentence we're looking for in your workbooks. Okay, so the work for the spicier, you've got 4 questions there to do in your book. Remember, you are writing the numbers here. You're writing that it's spicier. Here you can see there's a matching task. You've got 3 possible answers here. You've got to match them. And you've got some other missing discs, missing counters to do. And moving on after that, you've got more spicier work, which I'm really pleased if you're moving into now. And if you want a further challenge when that's finished, you've got the spiciest here and here. Okay, good luck everybody with that. Well done for today's work. And we shall put the answers up in the next lesson on Monday. Meanwhile, as you know, if you've got any questions or anything you're having difficulty with about doing this maths, whether it's a computer problem or a tablet problem, whether it's the fact that the work's too easy or too hard, you want more challenge, I'd love to give you more challenge. Get in touch with the school. Remember, you can email the school on the admin email address, or you can ring them up and leave a message if you want to. Say it's for year 4 for Mr. Bowes, and I will get back to you. Okay, well done. Bye for now.